Hey everybody, I just decided to go live because I wanted to talk more thoroughly about the conversation that I had on Gathering of Light last night, about evil and how to reframe it and bringing us into awareness about our own shadow. And I could feel some intense energy in the field, and I wanted to just be a voice of opportunity and not of fear. So, we have the opportunity in this experience of being human where we can create our own reality. But humanity is at a pivotal precipice point right now where some people are don't believe that and don't participate in that point of view, and then there are people who are like, hell yeah, yeah, that's absolutely what is happening. And so I want to contextualize it, shadow work, in terms of how that can be helpful for you in terms of reframing, because, the idea of this is a simulation works to your benefit. Because if that is the case, and I don't have verifiable proof, right? But I really do believe that this is the case, that we're participating in something that is divine, but it is a simulation that we have been agreeing participants in. And my work as a spiritual hypnotherapist and consciousness holistic life coach for about 15 years now, and still in the metaphysical. Like, I was born in the metaphysical space. I was born remembering and desiring being in connection with spiritual matters. Um, but so life is this simulation. So, what do we do with that information? How is this useful to you? It's useful because when you start to disentangle from the narrative that you've been given through your life experiences, starting as early as second trimester in the womb, you and I and humans start to become patterned with the experiences of life. And so when we're forming and mom is going through deeply intense stress or other emotional experiences, that can have a profound impact on the experience that we have. I've worked with clients who were highly anxious and stressed out and feel like life is a burden, or that they're a burden, and then regress them into experiences of being um, around that early phase of life, even in the first trimester. And they come to realize that the energy that they're carrying isn't even theirs. That perceptual frame of they're a burden, they're stressed, their nervous system is dysregulated, is a part of their perception of what mom is experiencing. And so that becomes an overlay of their perception of who they are. And I'm here to be an advocate for you to live the life that you're really desiring to live. And that means, you can change everything about how your life expresses. And the key to that is aligning with what you truly desire, what truly lights you up and feels resonant for you. And then the deeper work becomes, and this is work, this isn't just something that happens, it becomes like a pivot point for you, a realization or awareness that if you focus on things, perhaps instead of striving in one way, like how do you set your budget up, your energy budget? Like every day you have 100% of this amount of energy. What are you focusing your attention on? Are you focusing on stuff that's in the news? Are you focusing on stuff that makes you fearful? That whatever it is that you feel like is in the way of you getting to where you want to be in life and what you want to experience, that is the shadow work. And if you're in a position where you feel like if this SOB or that person hadn't done X, Y, and Z, that is your shadow work, because you can't operate in a sovereign way in your life if you're blaming others for the experience that you're having in life, because it's not to minimize your experience in life. And I know easier said than done for some, but the reality is the purpose of your life is to get to the other side of whatever you experience and then become fortified, do the shadow work to release it, to release, whatever narratives that you started to believe, that you're not enough, that you're not safe, that you're not lovable, that you're broken. All of these things are very much your shadow work to do. And it's beautiful work. So, initially, as you're starting to evolve into someone who is desiring more authenticity and sovereignty, the work is pivoting away from what you've been striving towards. I see a lot of people who are very successful, but they don't feel fulfilled, right? And so, what feels authentic to you is going to give you a sense of meaning and fulfillment. And that is going to have a huge effect on how you experience your reality and what you draw into your experience. So, and this message may not resonate for you. If you feel like this is BS or, whatever you think it is, if it doesn't resonate, find something that does. I'm not here for everyone. I'm here for those who resonate with this message. And so in my gathering of light last night, it got cut off, but the gist of it was there. But when we understand our shadow, when we start to pivot to review and uh, pay attention to the things that are showing up, the patterns in our life that are holding us back, the things that feel limiting, in a way that is with more reverence, and start to decide, to make the decision to not feel victimized by it, and to start to move in the direction of, well, show me, what is it that I need to figure out in order to move through these blind spots in my life, move through this difficulty? Why do I keep attracting the same type of person who is mentally or emotionally abusive? Why is it that I default to people pleasing? Why is it that I am unable to access the financial wealth that I desire? These are all of the things that you're wanting to start to notice in your own patterns of belief. What is it about your experience that is causing you to feel the limitation, the lack, the not enoughness, the not safeness, and start to pay attention to your body and how it's responding to things. So, what I want to also say is this work is not done in the intellect. Have a little sip of my coffee. The intellect is what is nourishing the pattern of belief that is keeping you stuck. And I don't want to diss the intellect because it's very important, but this work is more associated with your deeper consciousness, your expanded consciousness, your subconscious, and your soul. And so when you have a practice that helps you connect with the wisdom that's coming through, you start to have more guidance and trust in what is coming through. But if you're coming from a standpoint of being totally doubtful and skeptical, then perhaps it isn't time to do that work. But if you feel cracked open, if you feel like your heart is leading you to pay attention, there's books that are being synchronistically aligned to you, notice that. And then when it comes to fear and the concept of evil, it's really important to start assessing where your belief around evil exists. What was at the root of it? Who told you about it? Was it taught to you in religion? Was it taught to you through the news? Was it taught to you in some other way? If it was taught to you, I want you to tune into what is deeper within you. And there is a knowing within you that you can access that is sovereign. And part of connecting with that sovereign truth that is flowing through you as a higher level of your soul intelligence is to get quiet. I mean, that's why there's always like do meditation, but you don't have to do meditation. People tune into that when they're going on runs or working out, listening to amazing music, journaling. These are all things that work for people. And so if you have a way of connecting, start to trace back the trail of pattern beliefs around your perception of evil and darkness and negativity. I'll tell you, when I first started doing psychic development and mediumship development, and I'm not a great psychic or medium, but I have been through training and development, and I'm super intuitive. And one of the things I realized when I was initially doing that work, a lot of the practicing to develop those skills happened through meditation. And, meditation is so key. And so when I started going into these deeper states of awareness, I started seeing faces coming into my awareness, and they looked really creepy. And I got scared. And I realized that I had to deal with my perception of what those faces might mean before I could allow myself to feel sovereign and secure and safe. I was under the impression or the belief that somehow I could be harmed. And when you believe that you can be harmed by energy beyond the veil, perceptual, consciousnesses beyond the veil, when they're coming into your awareness, that can seem like they could do something to hurt you. But I needed to get to the awareness that I am sovereign. I am in my own power. And if I didn't have that deep trust, then I wasn't going to work with that energy until I felt like I was ready or I had a practice that helped me deal with my doubt and my fear. And so I did that. And now when I work with clients who are opening up to their own spiritual gifts, but they have fear, I teach them about how to address that, how to come into their own power and stabilize into their own light and divinity, and that they have conscious direction. They can tell these energies that are coming into their awareness where to go. Like, you're not welcome, please go. And to say it with authority. And, all of these energies, when they connect with you, they're telepathic. And so They know your thoughts. They also know your energy field. They also know if you're authentically afraid or not. They can feel it. And so part of understanding your own divinity is that you call in what you believe to be true. And if you believe that you are being attacked by demons, that creates an energetic and conscious environment that allows that in. And so, looking at your beliefs and how they limit you, part of the shadow work is also looking at how the narrative of evil has kept humanity small. The narrative of evil keeps humanity disempowered. And so there is a benefit to that. You know, in my first career, I was an archaeologist. And so, but it's always been a question to me, like, is hell real? And what I feel confident in sharing is I don't believe that hell is real. However, there are vibratory realms where a hell-like experience can be accessed. And you can find information about this in my Dr. Michael Newton's work. Um, it also comes through in people's stories about near-death experience, because some people will have these dark experiences if they have a near-death experience and they cross the veil. And what I've learned is if that is your true belief that you're going to hell, you will go to a place where others reside energetically, where other souls are existing there, but it's not a realm of eternity. It's a realm of experience. And so your soul gets to experience what it thinks it's experiencing. So again, creating our own reality even after we've left this physical body. And as soon as your soul is like, is this all there is? Is this all that's going to happen here? You will be visited by your guides, because we have guides that have been with our soul for eternity. I mean, something that's not quantifiable in a human context. They're like, okay, you ready to go? Let's go. And then you move into the higher frequencies where your soul is always anchored anyway. So I just want to have this conversation more often with people. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to drop me a comment or a question about it. I'm happy to talk about it. I really just want to be a resource for you to find your light. And these Monday gatherings of light are a way for you to bring your light in to the collective and assist humanity with this change that's taking place in the collective, where there are people who are going to who aren't ready and aren't going to be participating in the elevation of consciousness. But there are people who, like a huge number of people who are evolving very quickly, and there is going to be a different expression. So whatever frequency your being maintains and holds is what that frequency can deliver in terms of reality. So a simple way of putting this is, so when you have a really crappy day, and you're just heavy and down in the dumps or ticked off, you will have more of that coming into your experience. Even your thoughts are manifestations. Your thoughts are going to be an expression of what you're magnetizing towards you. And the goal is to shift your intention to one of what is it that I want to experience? And then when you become intentional about what you experience, and then you start to become conscious of what you're doing to either create that or unintentionally sabotage that, you will have a shift that you notice. So just want to offer that a little extra today. Um, Feel free to comment. And also, if you're interested in having somebody to work with one on one, I do that. So I'm like the person that helps hold your hand through the discovery of the self that you're ready to step into. And I'm wishing you a beautiful day and a highest alignment with your authenticity. And join us next Monday for more Gathering of Light, number 19. And I don't know yet what the topic is going to be. We'll see what drops in. All right. Blessings to you all.